Hello, hello, and welcome back to Real Easy Talks, your daily English practice. I'm Anna.
And I'm Tom. Hi, Anna. Hi, everyone. Anna, I have to be honest with you. I'm feeling a bit defeated today.
Oh, what's going on, Tom?
So last month, I made this big plan. I was going to wake up early, exercise every morning, study English for an hour, eat healthier, drink more water. I wrote it all down. I was so motivated.
And what happened?
I lasted 4 days. 4! By day 5, I was exhausted. I skipped the workout, and then I felt so guilty that I just stopped everything. The whole plan collapsed like a house of cards.
Tom, first of all, thank you for being so honest about that. And I want you to know I've done exactly the same thing, more than once.
Really? You?
Absolutely. And here's what I've learned. The problem wasn't your commitment. The problem was the size of the change.
It is?
Yes, and that's exactly what today's episode is about. Today, we're talking about how small changes lead to big results.
Okay, because clearly my approach of changing everything at once is not working.
Not at all. And you're not alone in that. Today, we're going to explore why small changes are actually more powerful than big ones, how they build momentum without you even noticing, and most importantly, how to make them stick.
I definitely need this. Okay, let's do it. But before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed to Real Easy Talks yet, please do.
It really helps us reach more learners around the world. And if this episode speaks to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it.
Okay, Anna, small changes, big results. Let's go.
So, Tom, when you made that big plan last month, what were you actually hoping for?
I wanted to feel different. Like I wanted to wake up one morning and feel like a new person, someone who has it all together.
And when that didn't happen after 4 days?
I felt like I was the same old Tom. Nothing had changed.
This is what I call the 1-degree shift, and it completely changes how we think about change.
The 1-degree shift? What do you mean?
Let me give you a picture. Imagine an airplane taking off from New York, heading to London.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
Now, if you shift the direction of that airplane by just 1 degree, one tiny invisible degree, where does it end up?
Probably still pretty close to London.
Actually, no. A 1-degree shift over the length of that flight would land you in a completely different city. You might end up in Brussels or Paris instead of London.
Wait, really? Just 1 degree?
Just 1 degree. But the thing is, if you're sitting in that airplane, you wouldn't notice. The change feels invisible. The sky looks the same, the clouds look the same, nothing seems different.
But the destination is completely different.
Exactly. That's how small changes work in your life. A tiny shift in direction, repeated every day, leads you somewhere entirely different over time. But in the moment, it feels like nothing is happening.
Oh, so when I tried to turn the whole plane around in 1 day, that's why I crashed.
That's a perfect way to put it. You don't need to turn the plane around. You just need to shift it by 1 degree.
But that's what's hard for me, Anna. If I can't feel the change, how do I know it's working? Like 1 degree doesn't feel anything.
And that's the most honest question you could ask, which brings us to the second idea. I call it the Silent Accumulation Principle.
The Silent Accumulation Principle. Okay, tell me.
Here's the thing about small changes. They accumulate, but they accumulate silently. You don't notice them building up, and then one day you suddenly see the result.
That sounds frustrating, honestly.
It can be. Let me give you another picture. Think about a river and a canyon.
A river carved a canyon?
Yes, but here's what's remarkable. The river didn't carve the canyon in one dramatic flood. It happened drop by drop, day by day, year by year. The water was always moving, always working, but if you stood there watching on any single day, you'd see nothing happening.
You'd just see a river.
Just a river. And you might think, this water is too weak to shape this rock. This is pointless.
But it wasn't pointless.
Not at all. The Grand Canyon is over a mile deep, and it was carved by water that never stopped flowing.
So my small changes are like that water.
Every single one of them is shaping your canyon, even when you can't see it yet.
But Anna, doesn't this take forever? Like, I don't want to wait 1,000,000 years to see results.
I understand that fear, but here's what I want you to remember. The opposite of everything at once isn't nothing for years. The accumulation is faster than you think. People often start noticing real differences in just weeks, not because each day is dramatic, but because the days add up.
Okay, that actually makes me feel better. Like the river isn't waiting 1,000,000 years to see progress, it's shaping the rock every moment.
Every single moment. And here's a tip. Try keeping a simple log, even just a few words at the end of each week. Write down any tiny shifts you've noticed, things that might seem insignificant on their own, but when you look back over a month, you'll see how much they've added up.
I like that. It's like keeping track of the water level.
Exactly.
Okay, so I shift 1 degree and the change accumulates silently. But Anna, here's something I've noticed. When I do manage to make one small change, sometimes other things seem to shift too. Like when I started drinking more water, just that one thing, I noticed I was also snacking less. Is that a coincidence?
That is not a coincidence at all. You've just described the third framework perfectly. I call it the domino trigger.
The domino trigger. Like actual dominoes?
Exactly like actual dominoes. Have you ever seen those videos where someone sets up thousands of dominoes in a line and then they push just one?
Yes, and they all fall in a chain reaction. It's mesmerizing.
Here's what most people don't know about dominoes. A single domino can knock over another domino that's 50% larger than itself.
50%? That's incredible.
So, if you start with a tiny domino, the size of your fingernail, and each one knocks over one that's 50% bigger, by the time you reach the 29th domino, it's tall enough to knock over the Empire State Building.
Okay, that can't be real.
It's physics, Tom. It's the mathematics of cascading momentum. And your habits work the same way. One small change triggers another, which triggers another.
So drinking more water was my first domino.
And it knocked into snacking less, which probably knocked into feeling a bit lighter, which probably knocked into having a bit more energy.
Actually, yes, that's exactly what happened. I didn't plan any of those other things. They just happened.
That's the beauty of the domino trigger. You don't need to push every domino, you just need to find the right first one.
But how do I know which domino to push first?
Great question. Look for the change that's easiest to start and that touches the most other areas of your life. Drinking water was a great first domino because it's simple and it affects your energy, your appetite, your mood, your focus.
So I don't need to change 10 things. I just need to find my first domino.
One domino. That's it.
Okay, this is making so much sense. But Anna, I keep coming back to the same problem. Even small changes feel hard to start. Like, I know drinking water is simple, but some mornings I still reach for coffee first and forget completely. What am I doing wrong?
You're not doing anything wrong. You're running into friction. And this brings us to the friction reduction method.
Friction, like resistance.
Exactly. Think about a door. If you have to push a heavy door every time you want to enter a room, what happens?
I stop going into that room.
Right. But if the door is already slightly open, if it's just standing there inviting you in, you'll walk through without even thinking about it.
So the problem isn't my motivation, the problem is that the door is too heavy.
That's it. Most people try to build motivation to push through heavy doors, but the smarter approach is to make the door lighter, or better yet, leave it open.
Can you give me a concrete example?
Sure, you want to drink more water in the morning, right? Right now, what happens? You wake up, you go to the kitchen, you have to find a glass, fill it with water, and by then you've already seen the coffee machine and your brain says, coffee first.
That is literally my morning, every single day.
Now, what if tonight, before bed, you fill a glass of water and put it on your bedside table?
When you wake up, it's just there. No decisions, no effort, no friction.
Oh, so the door is already open.
Wide open. You just drink.
That's so simple it almost feels like cheating.
It's not cheating, it's design. The best habits are the ones that require the least effort to start. And I'll be honest, Tom, I do this myself, all the time.
You do?
When I wanted to read more, I stopped putting books on the shelf. I put them on my pillow. So when I went to bed, I literally had to move the book to lie down. And since it was already in my hand...
You just read a few pages because the door was open.
Every night, without willpower, without a plan, just design.
I love this. It's like instead of becoming a stronger person, I'm becoming a smarter designer of my own life.
Beautifully said. And you can actually do this audit yourself. Think about any habit you want to build, then ask, what's the friction? What's making the door heavy? And then redesign it. Move things around, prepare the night before, simplify the steps.
That's really practical. I can already think of 3 things I'd rearrange.
Good. Start with 1.
Okay, so we've got the 1-degree shift, the silent accumulation, the domino trigger, and the friction reduction method. These are all incredible, Anna, but I want to ask you something deeper.
Go ahead.
Why does any of this matter? Like, say I drink more water, I study 5 more minutes of English, I stretch in the morning. These are nice things, but are they really going to lead to big results? Sometimes I feel like I'm just rearranging deck chairs.
That's such an important question, and it brings us to the last framework. And honestly, I think it's the most powerful one. I call it the identity bridge.
The identity bridge. That sounds significant.
It is. Here's the idea. Most people think about change in terms of results. I want to lose weight. I want to speak English fluently. I want to be more productive. They focus on the outcome.
Right. That's what I do. I set a goal and try to reach it.
But what if the real power of small changes isn't about the results at all? What if it's about who you're becoming?
What do you mean?
Every time you make a small positive choice, every time you drink that water, study those 5 minutes, do that stretch, you're not just completing a task, you're casting a vote.
A vote?
A vote for the person you want to be. Every glass of water is a vote for, I'm someone who takes care of their body. Every 5 minutes of study is a vote for, I'm someone who invests in their growth. And over time, those votes add up into an identity.
Oh.
Let me give you a picture. Imagine you need to cross a deep canyon. You're standing on one side, and the person you want to become is standing on the other side.
Okay. And I can't jump across.
You can't jump across. The canyon is too wide. But what you can do is lay one plank, just one wooden plank reaching out over the gap.
One plank doesn't get me very far.
No, but tomorrow you lay another one, and the next day another, and slowly, plank by plank, you're building a bridge.
A bridge to the other side, to the person I want to be.
And here's the beautiful thing. You don't have to wait until the bridge is finished to feel the change. With every plank you weigh, you can look back and see how far you've already come.
I think that's the thing I've been missing, Anna. I keep thinking about where I want to be, and it feels impossible. But I never look back at the planks I've already laid.
You've laid more planks than you realize, Tom.
Do you think so?
I know so. The fact that you're here, listening, thinking, questioning, those are all planks. You've been building your bridge all along.
I just didn't see it because I was too focused on how far the other side still looks.
And that's completely human. We all do it. But this is why the small changes matter so much. Not because of what they produce, but because of what they prove. They prove to you that you are capable of building.
Capable of building. I like that.
So, Tom, let's bring it all together.
Yes. Let me see if I remember everything. Okay. First, the 1-degree shift. We don't need to turn our whole life around overnight. A tiny shift in direction, repeated daily, leads to a completely different destination over time.
Perfect.
Then, the silent accumulation principle. Small changes build up silently, like a river carving a canyon. We might not see the progress day to day, but it's happening.
Absolutely.
The domino trigger. One small change can trigger a chain reaction. We just need to find the right first domino, the one that's easiest to start and connects to other areas of our life.
Yes, exactly.
Then, the friction reduction method. Instead of relying on motivation, we design our environment to make good habits easier. Leave the door open. Remove the resistance.
You've got it.
And finally, the identity bridge. Small changes aren't just about results. Each one is a vote for the person we want to become. Plank by plank, we're building the bridge to our future selves.
You got it all, Tom. And do you see the thread that connects every single one of these?
I think so. It's that we've been thinking about change all wrong. We think we need explosions, but we actually need consistency. We don't need to be extraordinary. We just need to show up again and again with something small.
That's exactly it.
You know what I'm realizing, Anna? All of this is really about one thing: trust. Trusting that the small things matter. Trusting the process even when you can't see the results. Trusting yourself enough to keep laying planks even when the other side feels impossibly far away.
That's exactly it, Tom.
I think I've been so afraid of doing too little that I keep trying to do too much. And that's actually what's been holding me back.
And so have many of our listeners. But now you have a different way to think about it.
I really do. And honestly, I feel lighter, like I've been carrying this heavy backpack of I need to change everything, and I can just put it down.
You can put it down and pick up one small thing instead. Now, for everyone listening, we have a challenge for you this week.
Yes, we're calling it the One Small Thing Challenge.
Here's how it works. Choose one small change, just one, something so small it almost feels silly.
Like putting a glass of water by your bed, or reading one page of English before sleep, or stretching for 2 minutes in the morning.
Do that one thing every single day for 7 days. Each day, just notice how it felt. That's it. One small thing, 7 days.
That actually sounds manageable.
Because it is. That's the whole point. Make it so easy you can't say no.
And share your experience with us. Leave a comment. Tell us what your one small thing is.
We genuinely want to know how this changes things for you.
And if this episode helped you, share it with someone who needs it.
Remember, you don't need a revolution. You just need one small thing repeated with trust. The bridge is already being built. Until next time.
Bye, everyone.
Keep laying your planks. We'll see you soon.